Welcome to Exam Sale. In this video we will break down the syllabus for the Dell VMAX Family Specialist Exam for Platform Engineers so you know exactly what to study and how much emphasis each domain carries. This exam covers 7 domains with clear weights. L2 Technologies at 23%, L3 Technologies at 17%, Dell EMC Power Switch Configuration at 15%, Campus Networking Topologies and Architecture at 13%, Security and Network Management at 12%, Dell EMC Power Switch Product Portfolio at 10%, and Monitoring and Maintenance at 10%. I will summarize what you need to learn in each domain, highlight key topics like VLANs, OSPF, VRRP, VLT and OS10 CLI, and point out assessment formats and suggested study time where relevant. L2 Technologies is weighted at 23% and is labeled hard, with an estimated learning time of 12 hours and scenario-based assessments. You will learn data link layer configuration and troubleshooting in campus environments, starting with VLAN fundamentals, port-based and protocol-based VLANs, tagged versus untagged ports, management and voice VLANs, trunking and private VLANs. You will also master spanning tree variations including STP, RSTP and MSTP, bridge elections, port states, timers and protections like port fast, BPDU guard, root guard and loop guard. Finally you will implement link aggregation and virtual link trunking, configure LAC-based lags, VLT domains, peer links and peer routing, and learn verification and troubleshooting techniques for VLT synchronization and loop prevention. L3 Technologies carries 17% of the exam, is hard, and has an estimated 10 hours of study with scenario-based assessment questions. You will cover IP routing fundamentals for both IPv4 and IPv6, static routing, default gateways, interVLAN routing using SVIs and floating static routes for redundancy, plus administrative distance concepts and route selection. The OSPF section teaches single area and multi-area configurations, neighbor state transitions, stub and NSSA areas, authentication and OSPF3 for IPv6, along with verifying the link state database and tuning interface costs. You will also configure first hop redundancy with VRRP, set up virtual IPs, priority and preemption, object tracking and understand VRRP interaction with VLT. Dell EMC Power Switch configuration is 15% of the exam, medium difficulty, with about 8 hours of hands-on and conceptual study expected. This domain focuses on initial device setup, OS10 command line navigation, exec and configuration modes, CLI help, session management, and using piping and filtering to analyze output. You will learn configuration management, how to save and restore running and startup files, perform backups and restores, transfer files with FTP, SCP and TFTP, manage the local file system and ONI, update images, and execute factory resets and password recovery procedures. Mastery of these practical tasks ensures you can manage day-to-day operations and recover systems when needed. Campus Networking Topologies and Architecture accounts for 13%, medium difficulty, and requires about 6 hours of conceptual and scenario-based study. You will compare 2-tier collapsed core and 3-tier hierarchical architectures, identify access aggregation and core layer functions, and evaluate where leaf-spine fits in campus environments. The syllabus also expects you to assess oversubscription ratios for uplinks, decide power switch placement across layers, and weigh the benefits of modular versus fixed switch designs to make practical deployment choices. Understanding these design trade-offs helps you map technical features to real deployment requirements. Security and Network Management makes up 12% of the exam, is medium difficulty, and recommends about 7 hours of scenario-based practice. You will implement authentication and access control using Radius and TACAX plus local user accounts, AAA method lists and fallback options, and secure remote access through SSH and management plane protections. The ACL and port security topics cover standard and extended IPv4 ACLs, applying ACLs to interfaces and VLANs, port security limits and violation actions, 802.1 export-based authentication and MAC authentication bypass, along with control plane policing to protect device CPU. These skills are essential to harden the campus and protect management and data traffic. Dell EMC Power Switch product portfolio is worth 10%, labeled easy, and requires around 4 hours of conceptual study and scenario review. You will identify features of the N series such as N1100, N2200 and N3200, understand S-series campus-optimized platforms, and differentiate OS 6 and OS 10 capabilities. The domain covers post-standard stacking and hardware limits, port speeds and transceiver compatibility, and common use cases so you can match devices to deployment needs and know which platforms support required features. This is primarily a conceptual domain to ensure you recognize product capabilities and limitations. Monitoring and maintenance is also 10%, medium difficulty, and recommends about 5 hours of conceptual and scenario-based learning. You will learn to configure SNMPv2C and SNMPv3, implement syslog for remote event logging, and set up port mirroring or span for traffic analysis. The syllabus also covers OS 10 firmware upgrades and rollbacks, LLDP and CDP for system health monitoring, using show commands to analyze hardware status, and configuring NTP for time synchronization across the network. These operational tasks keep the campus healthy and help you diagnose and resolve incidents quickly. That wraps up the domain-by-domain breakdown for the Dell VMAX Family Specialist Exam for Platform Engineers. Use the domain weights to prioritize study time, focus on lab practice for scenario-based topics, and review the conceptual domains to round out your preparation.